ya every morning.
Yes, give thanks. Good evening, good day. From coast to coast and around the whole wide world. Welcoming you to Vegan Dream Donuts, Strong Drink Vegan Juice Bar. I'll be your original host, Raz Izes, along with my co-guest, my brethren Rebel, and my ancient elder, Baba Faroke, and the rest of the panel here. We're going to be just building with you, just bringing you black to our reality, you know. We're in the West End, the local historical West End at that. And I'm proud of the West End for many factors, you know. It's still a community. We have the unity amongst ourselves. We can go to black businesses and support ourselves, you know. It's a beautiful thing. Right in front of us is a store called Afrocentric Network, which is one of the most blessed, brilliant African clothing stores in America right now. If you didn't know, Afrocentric Network clothed the movie, which is called Wakanda, right? Is it called Wakanda? Or they call it, no, that's not the Black Panther. That's not the Black Panther. The Black Panther is a group of people, you know what I'm saying, who arrived in the 70s. So it couldn't be the Black Panther. We say Wakanda, you know what I mean? Keep it in reality. So Wakanda actually was filmed here in Atlanta. And all the clothing that was worn in the movie Wakanda was filmed out of this store called Afrocentric Network. So we're thankful, you know what I'm saying? We're in our own community, and we're able to take it somewhere from the real foundation of it all. Because the West End, to me, honestly, is like the last community we really got left. You know what I'm saying? And standing still active movements right now, you know? And we're gonna go black in history a little bit into Harlem, you know, in the days where people were more unified and supportive of one another, because we realized that's all we really had, you know? In this day and time, we don't realize the value that we really should be taking of ourselves in one another, you know? So that's what this show is about. It's really about black love, the original black love, the black love for your people, your race, your culture, your motherland, which is Africa. That's the original black love. So we want to stay on that and help ones return to that. If you ever forgot about it, we want to help you to return to it. That's why we're here to thank champs. And let my brethren speak a few words as well while I light my split. Yes, sir.
Peace, peace, family. I just want to ask Baba Faroke if I got permission to speak.
Well, nobody needs my permission to speak.
Gotcha.
Of course.
Black Power, family. My name's Rebel Witacause, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and just moved out here to Atlanta, and we just trying to bring something real to the people, something factual, real talk, real men, real mind frames, real ideologies from the past, present, into the future. So I'm just here to sit here for the rebels of the world. So my rebel gang out there, holla at me.
That's right. Yes, Baba. Micro?
Okay, what, you want me to speak?
Yeah, I wanted him to speak, let them know who the guy is, you know?
Well, my name is Farouk. I've been here 40 years from New York. I lived in all 5 boroughs. I went to school there. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm 76 years old. And it's been an interesting journey. My life, me landing here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I've seen Atlanta grow at a rapid pace. Materialistic, it's looking good. Physically, not too good. And spiritually, not good at all. Oh, that's not anything that we will not be able to correct as we go further into the future. None of us can predict the future, but we can tell what we might expect by the results when you look behind you and see what's coming up behind you. So, I guess you will speak about that a little later on. I'll pass it on to somebody else.
It does. Yes, sir. Yes, my brother.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be with y'all, brethren. I've known Raz Izes for quite a while. I think I even known him as Rough before.
Yes, indeed. True.
Yeah, so, you know, I could always be myself with the brethren. And that's one treasure that you don't get with a lot of people. So when he asked me to come and speak on the state and the camaraderie of this community, I said, sure, I would be honored to do it. So I'm here for that. And get your popcorn.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Respect. Respect. Give thanks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Brother Eddie. I'm a 68-year young organic vegetarian,
Give thanks.
native Atlanta, proud of it.
Yes, sir.
As I was talking to the brother over there, I was telling him my family moved in the West End back in 1954. My father, he was a veteran from World War II. They just got him a job at the post office. And we were blessed to live in Southwest Atlanta. And I was able, at a young age, I was able to notice the exodus of our white brothers and sisters from Southwest Atlanta. Because we were just the third black family in the entire community of Southwest Atlanta. All of this area here was dominated by white people. And I grew up playing with white kids, but in starting around maybe the early 60s to the mid 60s, a lot of our black brothers started getting out of the military, the Korean War, and they got the VA loan and started purchasing homes in Southwest Atlanta. So what happened, our white brothers and sisters started leaving. Major exodus out of the city. And Southwest Atlanta became dominantly black within 3 years.
Around what year is that? The transaction?
By 1968, Southwest Atlanta was basically 80% black by then. But 4 years prior, it was white. You know, but it showed how our white brothers and sisters at that time, not saying that they were bad people, but they just did not want to deal with black people. So they left.
Sure.
So black people in Atlanta was able to have enough vision to say, we don't have to have the white man to be successful. You know, back at that time, Auburn Avenue was booming. You know, black businesses was booming.
True. Sweet Auburn.
Sweet Auburn.
Yes, sir.
You know.
That was the original marketplace.
Yeah. So since that time, what has happened, the spirit of darkness has utilized drugs, the lust of the flesh, to throw the black man off his path. Whereas he's no longer working toward his destiny. And a lot of the reasons why he's gotten off his path is because he's unable to embrace humility and love. See, if we're going to move forward, we must embrace humility and love. That's the key. So it's my hope that that all people will embrace humility and love as a way to achieve eternal peace, eternal prosperity for all people, not just for black people, but for all people. And I feel we can do it. And I really love the fact that you are doing this, Ross, that you are having this production to give us an opportunity to encourage all people to embrace humility and love and move forward. Stop looking back. Keep looking forward. And God will bless all of us.
Yes,
Peace.
Peace and bless. Give thanks for that sound. Yes, indeed.
Yes, I. Nagu Salam. My name is Amdi Zion Selassie. I'm hailing from Selma, Alabama. Coming forward from Selma, Alabama, where the cotton fields of this land, these people made themselves an, I guess you would call them an oligarchy, a new aristocracy across the world from that black belt soil. And coming up out of there, you know, I just witnessed so much oppression on the economic level that coming forward to places like Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, from long time, from when the civil rights movement coming forward, there's always been a link between these areas where you have more black economic empowerment. And I give thanks to see the togetherness of ones in Atlanta, just holding the heavens of greatness. You know, you have different ones holding different heavens, but yet still it's a black greatness that's still there about. So, you know, I just give thanks to be here amongst my brethren and amongst the elders. And I just say, you know, I just last it first. See you.
Yes, we give thanks for that sound, you know? Because when I really came with this show, you know, my mission really was to reach the people, you know? That's why we have to come together as black men, as real men, to reach the people, to guide them in the ways that they need to be guided, you know? I think in this time, as our youth, in this time, they don't realize that one day you're going to get older, you know? You know, the way society is teaching our people is that the 40's the new 30, and the 30's the new 20. So where's the adults? You see, we have to get back to adulting, you know what I'm saying, ourselves, and carrying ourselves as adults. We can't be children. We can't go on and try to pretend we're not who we are in our right ages, you know? Right now, you got more younger people wearing gray hair than older people. Check the science of that. How backwards is that? You got younger people walking gray hair and older people dyeing their hair black. You see what I mean? So we got to realize the time we're in, that is this point, is that children, they'll tell you is the future, but the real future is the elders, because we're all going to get old one day. And I say ancient, you know, because old, crazy, I look at it as ancient. You get wiser in your age, you know, you get more wisdom, you know, and not even wise and dumb. It's really wise mind when you really check it. Your mind have to get wiser, you know, your mind shouldn't be getting dumber, but that's another story. But the reality is that we as a people need to realize that we are all going to get older one day. So we have to respect the ones that came before us. Those are the ones that paved the way for us to even be here. So we always have to keep these things in mind and respect for our elders first. That's why I'm glad my elders are here, you know, to keep things as a balance, you know what I mean? Because there won't be any profanity on this show. We're going to be speaking to you so you can understand what we're saying very clearly without any profanity. Because these days and time is way too much profanity. And it's lowering the mind state of the people. Because you can't have any full communication with profanity. There's no communication with profanity. You have to communicate with people with languages, you know, speaking proper English or whatever language you're speaking, it has to be proper. And it has to be respectful. So we have to get back to respecting one another. And this thing we call love, right? This thing we call love is being taken in the wrong way. Because love is not just loving yourself. That's the self-love that this world is teaching you. Teaching you to love yourself. Love, in the scriptures it show you, is to love the Almighty first. With your heart, your mind, your soul. Right? That's the first love. The second commandment is to love yourself as you love the Almighty. That's 2 forms of love. The 3rd form of love is to love your brother and your sister as you love the thyself. Okay? So that's the original love. There's no personal love. So this thing called love, you got to realize it's like respect. Okay? Love is like respect. In order to get it, you have to give it. Yeah, we're going to keep that right there. You know? We give thanks. Yes, sir. Yes, Rebel.
Yeah. What creates that, though?
Black sound.
Black love. Black door.
That's what we had. Open the door.
All right.
Let we go in.
Nah, I don't even know how to attack it first. We got so many machines working against us. It's almost like we're in a war and we don't recognize the strategies that's used against us. So there's thousands from the internet all the way down to the language.
True.
Just language is power, right? Words are weapons. So we got to change the vernacular, we got to change the vibration, we got to change the mind frame, the core. So we need culture. So I'm definitely blessed to be in Atlanta now, and I'm surrounded by so many gods. I feel so protected, so I'm totally confident in doing everything we were speaking about, and executing plans to help the West End grow back to where it was. So, excuse me. So, Rebel is in, and I just know we got a lot of work to do, and I like the gods and the goddesses I'm seeing out here, and I know we're gonna do a lot of work, but it's up to us. It's not the youth or the elders. If you ask me, it's that middle between gap, maybe that 25 to 50. I think we are the soldiers that should almost be in control of the gambit of the community. The elders give the guidance, we execute the plan, and the youngins take the lessons. But you need real men in that middle gap, and I think that's what's missing. We scared of the youth. I still ain't see a youth I'm scared of yet. They got guns, whatever. We should still be able to approach them on a level where we could get them to sit down enough to understand, to get them to understand what they never was taught, what they never knew.
Right.
So the balance of the elders into the adult, into the young crowd, I think that's on us.
True.
So
They did a study, right? They did a study with elephants. Right? They did a study with elephants, and they put a bunch of young elephants together, and they were wilding out. They were killing one another and killing off their own population, you know? So what they realized is that they need to put an elder elephant in there, or more elder elephants, to regulate the younger elephants.
for control.
And if you see the elder elephants regulating it, you know, to the point is they hitting them with these big tusks, you know. Tusks that can rip you apart, you know. They realized, say, wait, I listened to this elder, and the elder wasn't doing nothing but stopping them from fighting one another, you know. That was his whole mission, was to stop them from attacking one another. To the point is they started working with each other. You see? Because they had found that balance. You see what I mean? And that's what I see, the same thing we're going to as a people. We don't have the balance between the youth and the elders so where they can fully find respect. You know what I mean? The world is teaching them to a level where it's all about them. You know what I mean? And you don't have to respect this and that. There's no respect for anything. You know, the profanity has them in a mind state where they don't respect anything. You know what I mean? So we have to change that narrative, is to show them what respect is about. You know what I mean? Because end of the day is, you have to respect where you came from. You know? That's the reality of it all. I don't care what you go through, you gotta respect where you came from. You came from a mother and you came from a father. You have to respect that. You know what I mean? Everything on this earth respects that.
Right.
Because the reality is the Most High said it, which is man, woman, and child.
Right.
He never broke his creation.
Them same kids you talking about is bombarded by European logic,
All right, yeah.
which is almost a complete opposite of that.
True.
So this is why it's disproportionate. We don't have enough of us compared to what they could just go watch. However long this show is, they could just go watch Netflix for 2 hours and forget what we said.
Ah.
And then see all the commercial messaging at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So we fighting a real monster that people gotta recognize exists. The system. So it's like all of that's good. But how do we stop the whispers? It's like, how do these kids learn what they learn?
Right, from the internet, television, yeah.
So we got to create something that's at the same level, or we have to get them excited and want to be being black again. That's the real issue. The elder spoke about everybody. So we're inclusive. The only problem is when we're so inclusive, we forget about ourselves. And our problems stem from that missing core of our culture. We have multiple angles of culture to find yourself. So the science I know we have. The problem is, how do we correlate ourselves in the mix? Look at the fruit. Which fruit are we? The logic we use today, almost, we the orange, but we want to be the cherry or the pineapple or the coconut. When we the orange, we got to learn how to be the orange amongst the other fruit, and then be one. Because I don't think we exist in certain realities because of this. We don't really. One example. Everybody got white friends, right? Your white friend might say, "I'm going home." You say, "Where you going?" And they go, "I'm going back to France, see my grandmother." France is home. They're American, but France is home. Just like your Canadian friend. I'm going home to Canada. They've been in America 30 years. So our Africa or indigenous or island core is missing. And no disrespect, but I think it's due to our universal approach. We're not in the pie. We want to be. We so godly. We don't want to be in the pie. We rather everyone else in the pie. Feels like, and to a detriment even to our own elevation. So I'm not saying hate nobody. I'm saying we need to learn to love ourselves. How can you even love everybody else if you don't love yourself? It's too many blacks who love whites, I gotta say it. But then they don't love themselves.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a mind twist from the enemy. I'm taught to love you but hate mine. So I feel good loving you, but as soon as Shorty say something to Jay crazy, I'm trying to kill him, or vice versa. So I'm with the universal love if we are a part of it. Before, like I said, your white friend, before they go outside, they're Italian, Canadian, Russian. No one's calling them racist because they bought a Russian dish to dinner when we had the gathering. I want you to bring your Russian dish. So I could bring my black dish, my African dish, my Jamaican dish, my whatever dish. But I want us to learn how to count. We don't count in a lot of conversations, we should count it. And loving Africa and loving to be black, we're the negative. It's all in reverse. We all understand this. When you reach a certain level of consciousness, you learn the story you're first told is actually in reverse. So now it takes heart to live in that reversal against like the whole world reality. So we got a real job to do. So we hoping everybody out there support, and I'm definitely glad we're doing this because this is definitely needed. Real men talking, and from generations of perspectives. We're gonna get another a younger guard in here too. Someone in the teens.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When you said black people are too godly, what does that mean?
I mean, to simply answer, I mean, look at our history. We went from Jim Crow, I'm going backwards. From now, back to Jim Crow, back to slavery, back to our ancient times when we were conquered by many other nations. Through war. And we have yet to shoot one bullet at anyone for war crimes done against us historically. That's what I mean by too godly. We are too godly. And when I mean too godly, it's not like a negative. We are God's true people. So we do have that. We do have that nature in us that will pardon our bad kids. So no matter what the world do to us, I don't think we're gonna do what the world do to us.
No, I just have something to add to that. Unfortunately, if there's any harm being done, most of us do it to ourselves.
Can I interject real quick?
I didn't finish saying what I'm saying. I listened to you for a long time, bro.
I just wanted to add.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You can't wait. Go ahead. That's one of the things called patience. But go ahead.
I'm sorry, Elder.
I am too. But go ahead. I don't want to be right, but go ahead.
To get past it, is that learned behavior?
What's not learned behavior? From the time you come out of your womb, you learning behavior. From the time you come out of your womb. There could be no reasons why we are so spiritless. We're turning away from the right things and we're taking on these other attributes to take us from the real way we're supposed to go. But what I like to know, just for further reference before I continue to put my foot in his neck. The question was, what was it that was so important that you couldn't wait to say that until I finished?
I just wanted to know that small.
You figured that out, did you? Well, then you gonna put that on the European too?
I'm gonna put the first stage of it on the European.
Subhanallah. How old you are. And goes to show you. I'll just finish with my little meaningless statements. But that just goes. That just goes to show you how much that this life is based on learned behavior. And if we don't have any idea of who the Creator is and what we're made of from, and those little stories that we read about in the Bible, and black folks say, "Oh man, organized religion, I'm sick of it." And don't talk to me if you're talking about Jesus Christ. Not that I'm a Christian and that's my way of life. But let me tell you, those things are worth some value. You know, you can't pray to an ancestor before you can pray to the one who made the ancestor. Who made them? You talking about fruit? All we did was pick it. You know, the hard work, the labor, and setting the seed and waiting the time of the year, and all those things were laid out for us by the Creator. You know, but we're too busy trying to be gods instead of servants to one another. All these little gods, you got a young God in here right now. Those would be love. I seek refuge in the love from the cursed shit now. We have to know who the Creator is, and we have to know who the messengers were that He sent, and follow those for guidelines as from the beginning. It's one of the reasons why most brothers and sisters don't get along. Brothers want to be kings before to be a servant. And sisters say, "I want to be a queen, so I don't have to listen to you." Most people out there don't even identify with being married. You know, the responsibility. So I'm getting ready to step on some toes in the air.
Man, it's good. Step on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
You,
step on
so,
it.
you preaching now.
Yes, indeed.
I don't want to preach.
No, it's real. No, it's real.
You know,
reasoning.
but-
That's true.
You know, I was going inside of Publix earlier today, and I saw a brother from the neck down. He looked like he was straight. He was pushing a stroller, had a youngster walking next to him. He had a baby in a stroller and a young man walking next to him. That was cool. Until when he passed me, the seat of his pants was past the undergarments, where the cheeks of his undergarments.
Yeah, that's what they're wearing them now.
Well, let me finish. Let me tell this. I know how they wearing them. I know how they wear them. I saw them today. His sisters wear the tights,
Yes.
but at least they pull up above the navel. But you still see the full form of what they're made of. They think this is something grand. You want to know why we can't speak to one another? You go to a movie. Most of these Hollywood, Bollywood movies, poor, what do you call them? What's the, when you go to a movie, you look for the punchline or whatever it is. Sad stories, man.
Oh, yeah.
Sad stories,
Yeah,
man.
it's true.
You
The
know?
whole plot of the movie.
And most of them, you look at the Nigerian movies, they got the rich family and they got the little gatekeeper inside the compound. And they just treat him like he's nothing. Beep beep, blow the horn. Hurry up, open the gate. I'm in a hurry. No manners. Manners that you would teach your child.
Sure.
You know? Adults don't, you know, a lot of adults just don't have no good character. You know? How are we going to respect each other if we don't have good character? If we don't have the right speech to enhance the ideas that we would like to say. You know? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is great. There's none worthy of the worship. We do not worship anything other than the Creator. Don't worship the Creator. No stones. No anything the Creator created. We don't worship those things. We get a direct link with that Creator ourselves, first as individuals. And once we get able to do that, we can put ourselves together as a collective. We have something because we have something to work by the God of unity that gives us the instructions on how to be together in this life. And it don't matter what color you are, you know, because you got people all over the world suffering right now, you know, terrible suffering. They got some kind of concentration camp in China. They got 2 million people, 100 million people in it. I don't know if y'all know about that.
Oh, it's true.
You know? So everybody gets their chance of suffering. China was a great nation one time. You know? But you know, this thing is it's not just about black folks, it's about humanity.
Yes.
And knowing the difference between evil and good.
All right. True sound.
Not according to my desires or what I think it is, because you know, evil could be a pleasure to me, and good could be bad for anybody else. We have to understand what that means. You know? So, I'm not going to hold this up too long and let somebody else speak, but I just wanted to say those few things. I hope it made some sense in my approach.
Yes, indeed.
But if you're looking for a black thing, it ain't gonna work because the world is made up of, and you got Muslims all over the world, and with every denomination in the world. You got Chinese Muslims, you got Korean Muslims, and they all being put down. You got South American Muslims, you got Mexican Muslims, and that's the unity right there. There's something to think about. You might not like the idea, you know, you go in these little nail shops and things, you say, oh man, the Asians, they come to town, they give them bad rap about black people, they open up shops and they make more money than we can build our own business. Well, all of them ain't bad, you know, everybody in the world can't be bad, man. And we have to learn how to direct our attitudes and how we, you know, how we greet one another, you know?
That's true.
Just because somebody looks at me in an unpleasant manner doesn't mean that I shouldn't stop to say, how are you today, brother? With a smile. I ain't talking about a grin,
Right.
you know, but, you know, this is how we help one another, you know?
Truth to right. That's true sound.
You know? Or if we see somebody on the street that need a hand and they asking for $1, don't make it such a grand thing like, oh man, my folks, you got to go all in your pocket and show everybody you pull your money out and you give them 50 cents. You don't even give them one of them bills. You know? You know? This whole thing's a big front, you know? We got to watch ourselves, man.
That's true.
And it softens my heart and it brings tears that it's not easy to hold back this whole thing that's going on with us as a people.
True.
Because nobody knows suffering any more than we do as a people.
That's right.
Now the thing is, we don't want anybody else to go through what it is that we went through as a people, so we have to have a better approach. We have to work, you know, just because somebody reached a certain age, it don't mean they got some wisdom, you know. God, the Creator, let them live that long until it's time for them to go. Everybody has their mark date when we're going to leave here, and there's no way of stopping it. All the folks, it's good to eat healthy. It's good to eat healthy and have good speech, but that doesn't help you to live any longer or any shorter, because we all have a determined date when we're going to die. But when we die, we want to die in the best health. When we came into the world, we was in good health. We want to leave here in good health. It's that simple. Ain't nobody living here forever. I got brothers around me talking about, yeah, you're going to live forever, brother. Black don't crack and all that kind of, man. I tell you, we're fooling ourselves.
For real, for real.
You know?
This is real.
I went inside my building, there was these young men, they were just younger than myself by a couple of decades, and one guy had a little baby in his arm, and he's talking about, yeah, that girl, so and so, and I got that, and he's holding his baby in his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking like he's supposed to be a player or something. And it starts, a few curse words come out in here, and I just couldn't, I said, listen, y'all shouldn't be cursing in front of that baby like that. You couldn't been no more than 2 or 3 years old. You want to know where we get it from?
Right.
This ain't something that just come up out of hat. This has been going on since the time of Adam. And most of us, Rastafarians, have some good idea about the story of Adam, because they read the Old Testament.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people don't read the Old Testament, but we better take some time to look at those realities and go back to the spirituality. Not here to make anybody no Muslim. Muslim mean ones who believes. I'm not here to do that, but that's my faith and that's what I practice. And it's not an easy thing for me to practice among those who don't believe. You know, when you disrespect your woman, and the Lord don't like us fornicating and stealing each other's wives and crazy kind of stuff. You want to know what the problem is? You don't need no microscope. So we have to be more honest and hurt our feelings and tell the truth, because the truth ain't easy. If you got any children, you know, you don't want your children, don't mean to offend anybody out there, have tattoos all over your body. You didn't come into the world with those tattoos, but if you have children and they're coming up, you're going to warn them. Son, sister, it's not good. The God didn't bring you into the world like that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Cover yourself. Have good manners. Have respect for all of humanity. You know? I truly respect all what Brother Anthony, Eddie, I'm sorry. Yeah, I respect a lot of what he was saying. He has some very encouraging things to say. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm gonna turn the faucet off on my end. Oh, I just want to say one more thing.
I'm just saying.
I've known this brother for some years now. Not as many years as some of you may have known him. But I really appreciate Ross. He has a good heart, and I could see him through his speech, the way he speaks to people. He's warm to brothers and sisters. And that's a sign of purifying the heart. And we can't make any improvements in ourselves unless we purify. You got bad blood, or you need to fast or something to clean yourself up. You got to purify your heart. Sure. I'm not saying this to give you a case of the big head. I'm just going to give you acknowledge you. This is one of the few brothers that when I come to see him, I have the opportunity to tell some of my corny jokes. When I was coming up as a kid, they used to call me King Corn. Because my jokes were so sad, you wouldn't catch on to them until next week. But he would always laugh. He would know what I was saying.
Every time.
You know, and
hilarious. Yeah. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Good thanks.
But I drove a cab here in Atlanta for over 30 years.
See.
And this was before they had the cab Lyft and Uber and them, the way they got it out now. You used to have to talk on the radio, like you got a trip in your area, you give them your location, they send you to it.
As a dispatcher?
Yeah, dispatcher, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I worked for a couple of cab companies in the past 35 years. My arrival in Atlanta, I was a musician, I played trumpet, piano. My family comes from a minstrel background. My mom and my grandmama and my granddaddy's side. They're all musicians. I'm glad that the Lord took that away from me, because the life of a musician is bad. Now, you got some people out there that have managed to escape those unpleasant experiences. But playing nightclubs, being around a bunch of stars and everybody thinks they're living in Hollywood and spending all that money, you know. If we don't know how to direct that energy, it's just going to get worse in the generations to come. You have some great people out there that make some money and make contributions. You know, the Lord set it up that way because anytime you make some money in this life and you have been extreme, you have an abundance of money, when you die, you're going to be questioned about what did you do for humanity when you had all that money? Did you help? Did you feed the needy? Did you feed the poor? You know, were you stingy? You know, were highfalutin, arrogant, wanted to be king and living in castles? And, you know, these are things that we have to examine. You know, I just want to add that little piece to it.
Thanks for that piece, though. Yes, thanks. That's real. I love it. Yes, sir.
We have some great stars out there. You got Michael Jackson, you got Miles Davis, you got Charlie Parker, you got Prince, you got they live luxurious lives. You got Biggie, all kind of folks. But they have some very unpleasant endings too. And the more money they had, the family that's in the background, all they want to do is fight for their remains because they couldn't take that to where they're going when they're dead.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Pass the mic on, Chuck.
Yeah, but that's good sound, though. All that good sound, we needed that because that's really what it's about, you know, getting caught up into the fame and not really realizing that we really, once we're thinking for ourselves, the narrative change, you know. You realize the only reason that we are the minority on earth is because we don't know that we're the majority? Yeah, because we ain't thinking for ourselves, you know. You know, they're thinking for us and have us thinking that we're the minority. But really, we're truly the majority of people on the earth. Majority of people on the earth are actually of color, to be honest with you. Red is a color, right? Black, brown is colors, right? Yellow, you know, it's a bunch of colors, right? That's on the planet, right? Human beings on the planet, seriously, like, as us, as a people. Because you gotta realize, say, we have a land, you know. There's a man and there's a land, you know? And the Almighty created a land for his people, you know?
What's the land?
The land is Ethiopia, Africa, as they will call it now in this day and time. You know what I'm saying? But that whole landmass was originally called Ethiopia, way before they came and documented what they did to what's going on now. The original land was Ethiopia. It was south, north, east, and west of Ethiopia. Right? This is a fact. The actual sea was originally called the Ethiopian Sea. Right? It's a fact that the oldest human skeleton remains is Ethiopia, which is a bones called Lucy. Right? Lucy, which comes from Ethiopia, and check this out. That's the bones that we gave them, you know. It's bones that they can't touch that we ain't give them, you know, so they gonna come and dig that up. No, find something older than Lucy. And then come talk to me. Huh?
Was Lucy a monkey?
No, Lucy is an Ethiopian. Now, see, that's the madness that they, but you know, the fullness is, you know, they know, we need to know, that Lucy, which is, the original name is called Dankanesh, which is the Ethiopian name. They call the name Lucy. But it's the oldest human remains on the planet, and it dates 4.5 million years old. These same bones, right? in form intact of a human being. Now, the cavemen and all this stuff here, that's them thinking for us, you know. But we ain't come from no cavemen and apes. The drum, the Nyabingi drum alone, the drum is older than the caveman. Let's get real.
True.
That's fire.
True.
Raz fact number one. The drum is older than
That's when we thinking for ourselves, you know. Because remember, say they thinking for us, you know. Everything that's going on, the holidays, everything is them thinking for us, you know. Our movement, what we should be doing, is thinking first for ourselves. We got to stop letting other people think for us. You know what I mean? We have to realize first that we have our own God. We need their God. And that's another thing too. As the elder was saying, we got to stay to the facts, because the God first is our own, you know, which is within us all. We have different names that he goes by, right? The Almighty has different names. You don't have just one. You know, I and I's Rasta called him Haile Selassie, the Almighty Supreme Being, dating back from Solomon and Sheba's bloodline, the Almighty King of kings and Lord of lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. I elected himself in light of the world, the ancient king who sits upon the throne of David, and King Solomon, Emperor Haile Selassie, the Almighty. Yes, I am. And you show me another one. You show me another one who sits upon the throne of David in this time, and you come talk to us. You know what I mean? I defend that. But differently, though, the reality is showing you that we have many gods that the Almighty name goes by, but it's just one. Now, see, the fullness is that we have to realize that we are spiritual beings. The religion thing we have to put to ourselves and hold that in the corner. Because what religion you are, that's your personal thing. But your spirituality, you bring forward. You know? Because our spirituality is what's going to link us together as one. See that? See that? See that? You know what I mean?
number two.
You know what I mean? Because that's what it's really about. Us coming together spiritually to conquer this war that we're fighting right now. You know? Yeah, it's a spiritual war. You know what I mean? It's not just physical. Don't look at this thing that we're fighting as a people. It's something you got to go out there and attack somebody about, you know. Right now, for us coming together right now, this is showing you the reality of the unity of us as a people, you know. And it's bigger than this, you know. This is what they don't show you on TV. Let me show you what they show you on TV. What they show you on TV, they'll show you a big screen of white, all the other nations in the mix. And then you, as a black person, is speckled out. You'll never see you on their TV in unity. You know, they don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see you having respect for you, having love for yourself, and can reason and respect for yourself. They don't want you to see this. Because this is where we really come from. This is what we really come from. You know? We don't come from the madness, the pants sagging down, the disrespect, the broad, the negativity. Where we come from, and we go black, you know. Because we got to go black. Sometimes y'all don't realize this color thing got y'all totally confused. Y'all got to go black and white. When we had men walking the streets with shoes on their feet, and they got their shoes shine. Okay? I mean, you had a pair of shoes that you respected, and you shined them. You know what I mean? Men wore suits, and when they walked in the door, they took their hats off and hung their hats on coat hangers and coat racks, right? When you walked in places, you had respect for ones. You said, hi, good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. We had respect for one another. In those levels there, we didn't carry ourselves in the way you did. Our streets was even cleaner. Our neighborhoods that we had was even cleaner. Why? Because we had more respect for our neighborhoods. We cleaned up behind ourselves. We made sure that kid picked that trash up off the ground. Did you just drop that? Pick that up. We said these things to one another to pull ourselves up, not to carry ourselves down. You know what I mean? So now when you go in your own neighborhoods, I know I see it right here in the West End. This is the last community we really got left. Watch, I'll tell you the truth. Yeah. So, even in the West End, you'll find people coming over here throwing trash down. But you go to the next man area, and it's squeaky clean. And you know who throwing the trash there? Us. All the trash you see on the street out there right now is us put it there. You know what I mean? Because that's the vibration. We don't realize that we getting caught up into this color mixed up madness. Y'all got to see things clear again. That's why it's 2020. That's why your vision got to get clear. Go black, black and white. Go black. Because you ain't black enough. You went too color too long and you forgot what was real. You know what I mean? What was really real. And what they think real is Hollywood. See, I worked in the films, you know what I mean, for years. You know what I mean? I did this work with all of them. And all of them is fake phonies, you know. None of them is real. They just acting for a camera. I work with Rick Ross. Rick Ross, right? The boss, right? I'm shooting a video with Ricky, right? He come in. Rick in a t-shirt. We tell Rick, we got you. First thing we do, we tell him first, you got to get cut. You got to get shaped up. We got to put you in a chair. You know what I mean? So you're going to see the hairdresser, bong, it's a barber, he got you. We got clothes for him, we got sneakers, we got everything. Leather jacket, we got the glasses, we got bottles that a company called Nouveau. They paid like $8,000 for the video to have a bottle in the video. Okay? Rick did. He come in with his split. Rick had weed though. He had the perk. He was burning plenty of perk through the whole movie. He's rolling up. But he was in his regular set. After we shot everything and everything go through, Rick asked me, he said, I gotta keep the jacket. I said, Rick, no, you can't keep the jacket. I gotta take the jacket back. That was so a certain company who's getting paid to just for you to wear the jacket. You know, take that chain off too, Rick. And you know that Phantom was not yours. You were just sitting behind it anyway. The mansion you coming out of, Rick, you're getting back in the car and you're going home. Okay?
Is this a colored guy?
Hmm?
Is he a colored guy?
Yeah, a big rapper. But the end of the day it's all Hollywood. It's nothing real. You know what I mean? The reality is that these people don't live this life. You know, they show you they in the club drinking all this alcohol and whoop-de-whoop with these females. These guys ain't doing none of that. Most of them is gay. You know? Most of the women, you know, is into women. So it's not a way that we should set ourselves and design ourselves behind this. We got to follow the Almighty, you know? And the Almighty set it straight. He created man, woman, and child. He never broke that. You know? What they got us going through in this time is trying to break the laws of creation. And we ain't dealing with that either. No way, no how. I got children. And I raised them to love the opposite, not the same. You know? And as real men, that's what we defend. As a real man with me with daughters, you think I'm going to defend homosexuality, brethren? You know what I mean? Because the end of the day is, I got to raise my daughters. You know what I'm saying? I want my daughters to have husbands and be wives. You see? So this is the reality what a real man stands for. He stands for his family. You know what I mean? What makes the lion have a pride? Or what is the pride of a lion? The pride of a lion is his family, which is his lionesses and his cubs and his family. That's the pride of a lion. He's not just proud just because he's walking around and he got a big mane and he whoop-de-whoop and ha-ha. I can destroy anything, you know. That don't make you a proud lion, you know. What makes you a lion with a pride, you know?
That's true. Let me ask you a question.
Is defending your family, which is the life of the man, woman, and child. I pray to y'all. Yes, sir.
What happens to the entity that does something to your pride?
Oh, well, you know what that is. It's the lion still, you know. Everything have to get to the wisest too, you know. It ain't even also the battle, it's the wisest, you know.
Yes, sir.
Because he had a lion. You know where the lion set his house at? Where the lion lived?
You asking me where a lion lives?
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna show you the
On the
jungle,
tree?
you know. Nah, he ain't set by the jungle, he live in the tree, you know. Where the lion sit is by the water hole, you know. Yeah. Because where the water go to, all life have to go to get a sip. You know? You gotta come to the water to live, right? So that's where the lion set his den right there. You know what I'm saying? By the water hole. Right? But now everything have to come to the lion first to get to the water. But the lion ain't gonna destroy everything. He has a balance. He know he can devour everything, every little tiny thing to the biggest thing, but he has a balance. He let everything come down and get a sip and just humble, you know what I mean? And everything have to come in a certain order. As the elders say, everything have to come with the tail between their legs. Just to have the humbleness and the respect, because it's the lion. It's the lion. I'm not going to disrespect him. He's going to let me get a sip. So the least I can do is bow my tail between my legs and go through. You know what I mean? Because he protecting everything for everyone. You see what I mean? It's also the wizzy, the wise mind. You know, and that becomes from the Creator. And that's what it's all about. It's a balance. But yes, sir.
I'd like to revisit a statement that, what's your name again? Brother Rebel said earlier that there are a lot of black people who love white people more than they do themselves, and he was wondering the reason why. I believe one of the main reasons why black people, especially today, don't love themselves is because of the fact that they don't love God. Um, many of these younger blacks of this generation, they don't really have a relationship with God. They go to church. You know, to show off their new clothes and stuff, or to meet a new girl or something like that, a new woman or something. But they don't really have a relationship with God. And until we establish, you know, all of us, until we establish a relationship with God, none of us are going to love ourselves. So that's the key, is that we must have a relationship with God. We must love God first before we can love ourselves. And once we love ourselves, you're right, then black people can get themselves together. We can become prosperous. We can learn to help one another, because you're right, black families are in turmoil. Even in my family, you know, they're in turmoil, you know, jealous of each other, you know, very materialistic, you know. So until we have a relationship with God and learn to love God first, we cannot, not only can we love ourselves, we'll never love anybody else. We'll always continually use each other.
Yes.
And I have found that that's what a lot of times, what especially black people do today. They use one another. They try to get over on one another. When I was coming up, I came up under the message of Dr. King. You know, we were trying to help one another. We weren't jealous of each other. I was glad to see my black brother get ahead. You know what I'm saying? My best friend, when he went in the Marines in 1968 to fight in the Vietnam War, I encouraged him to be the best he could be. Although I've always been against killing, but I always told him, you know, because he was drafted. He didn't want to. He was a Christian guy. He didn't want to go in the military. He didn't want to kill anybody. And he was blessed that he did not during his time in service. But because we always believe that life is precious, and you should be around here trying to get over on one another, trying to hurt one another. That's the reason why you have so much black on black crime today. These young kids, these young boys, they don't care about nobody because they don't have a relationship with God. They don't have a relationship with God, and the crime rate is going to continue if we, the ones who know the truth, don't share that with our younger brothers and sisters. Because as a former police officer as well as mailman, I've had a beautiful relationship with the city of Atlanta. And I have found that if you just encourage our younger black brothers and sisters, you can say a kind word to them. My main message I would always share with them is that when you speak to anyone, as the brother said, show respect. Don't be using profanity. If you, for instance, if you want somebody to do something for you, speak to them, offer them something first. You know, people always want to get something, but they don't want to give anything. And it doesn't have to necessarily be money. It can be a kind word. It can be a kind word. You can say, "How you doing today?" You know, and we have lost that. We have no respect for our elders. You know, these kids today, you know, like the brother was saying, use profanity around their young babies, around their elders. Because they don't have a relationship with God. They use profanity like it's supposed to be cool. You know, like, hey, it's the end thing. Like he was saying about the brother wearing his pants all down. They think that's being cool, being in with the in crowd, not realizing they're looking stupid. Right. And you're right. The power structure, what the Muslim used to call the Euro-Gentile, he want black people to act a fool. He want the world to see the black man as a fool because he know God has a purpose for us and God has a blessing waiting on us. We didn't go through slavery just for nothing. Everything that happened then, it's going to be for our good today if we remain humble, if we have a relationship with God. We're going to be blessed by what our brothers and sisters went through in slavery. But we cannot be bitter. We cannot be bitter. We cannot hate nobody. We got to remain humble. We got to show love before we can move forward. We got to have that self-love. But that we can only have that self-love if we love God.
First,
Question for the elder. Psychologically, does it matter if God looks like us or not?
I've never have looked upon God as any color. I've never looked upon Jesus Christ as being any color, but what the Bible says he is. Now, based on what the Bible says, Jesus Christ was black, but that doesn't force me to think that I'm any better than the white man because Jesus Christ was black. Because it's not about the color, it's about what Jesus Christ left us spiritually. That's just like Dr. King. Dr. King was a black man, you know, physically when he was in the world, but it was the spirit that left that has been a benefit to all people. It's especially over in the Fourth Ward. A lot of our white brothers and sisters who moved back into the Fourth Ward, they're benefiting now because of Dr. King's spirit, because of his nonviolent message. So, you know, it's not about the color, it's about the spirit, you know. So to answer your question, it doesn't matter whether Jesus Christ was black or white or whatever. Be caught up in the spirit of it, of being humble, of serving one another.
I understand that's more like the core true way to look at it that you're saying. I'm more asking what the world is, all the negatives we're talking about, from the youngins, from the young youth. Wouldn't God be more attractive if he looked or she looked like them? Because when you say there's no color, see how you have to.
Do you want to answer that?
Wait. Let me finish. You see how you have to overlap that fact that he's the white man on the wall. I'm just saying, in the world we live in. So I'm asking psychologically, does that turn off blacks? Because you say he has no color because you got an in-depth version of God. But everybody without that in-depth version just sees the picture. So is God being white a detriment to the blacks who won't come to?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyone else want to jump in?
Yes, well, I would say, you know, in that question, in the time right now, I witness the youth them know the thing is a lie with this European and the white Jesus thing. So just like them say Christmas, you know, December 25th is the winter equinox, and you live in a place where it's snow and you no vegetation. Yes, this become a special day for you when you see the sun start coming forward again. Now you can count the days from December 25th coming on down to the spring. So you know we're getting back closer to the rotation of the warm weather coming forward again. So for people living in the snow, that's a special day for them. But yet still, most of our youth, they don't want to go to no church. They don't even want to read no Bible because to them, all of them lies. You know, they read about King James. They know about when these people landed over here in Jamestown in 1607. And when they said the King James Version, 1611, somewhere around about that. All right? So, like the Virgin said, it make a difference because it make this spirituality go low to they be more barbarian-like. Because they straight killers because they don't have no spirituality. They don't want to be nothing because they don't believe in nothing. Because they say, we don't want to deal with that white man thing because them lies, you know. And so what I witness is I don't know the African liberation story. I know the Black American story. I know all the Black American greats. But you talk to enough people from here, they don't know how Africa was liberated. Africa was liberated through armed struggle. The only place that come not to be liberated through armed struggle in our time is South Africa. And it's the thing in our time, apartheid lasted to 1993. I remember I was on the bus in Atlanta here and Mandela get released in the newspaper. I would see the newspaper, I was so excited. I was on the bus and no one, nothing was going on. Everyone just going about their own business. But apartheid lasted to 93 on our watch. What were we doing during that time? When they had the people down there treat them like that. Super Bowl in it up. World Series in it up. I sit here in this country as a vanguard unit to be watchman to this place. In 1936, we will go forward to 1930 when Baba Janai Haile Selassie I was crowned. And him look out there in front of him, he had a representative from all nations out there. No people would ever come together like that before that time. You never had multiple nations come together before. The first time that happened was when Haile Selassie first coronation. You didn't have no, the European were colonizing everyone. You didn't have all the multiple nations coming together. The white boy, Europeans come from over here from America, they come and they see that thing, and they left that thing disturbed. They left the coronation of His Imperial Majesty disturbed greatly. Because in 1930 they had the stock market crash over here. 1929. And now who would this king get crowned with them estimation of a $3 million yellow gold crown on them head with rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and diamonds on that. And then on them right here, he have a gold-plated Solomon seal with platinum plate on top of that, engraved on one side with Ethiopia shall stretch forth their hands unto the Most High. And the other side, the Queen of Sheba going to see Solomon. This is in platinum on the cake. And man talking about they wearing platinum here today, you know. And this is 1930. And now when all of these people going over here to see the king, November 2nd, 1930, All of them had to get on one train, like the Virgin said. All of them had to come through to the water hole and line themselves up and go. All of them people had to come together and get on one train and go up the mountain to the coronation of His Majesty. Now, America, they had to get a ton cake to the coronation. Now, you tell me how big a feat it is in 1930 to get a cake that's a ton delivered to Addis Ababa. For us to even do that today would be a great feat for us to get a ton cake from here to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia today would be a great feat to accomplish in this time. You see? So we come from, we say, Ethiopia, the foundation of Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all of that in Ethiopia. All right? So, all right. So as Master is looking at this, you see all of these things. And then we go through the Holy Scriptures, and we say the commonality of what we see through Islam, Judaism, Christianity. One day the trumpet gonna sound, the great gates open, and the leader of the whole Lord's host, Michael, shall gather all the people together who say they are the faithful to spirituality. So them are one in reality, under this said reality. So we see this reality, and we see the thing, look on the wall there, and you see Time magazine right there from 1935, and it has His Imperial Majesty Baba Janai Haile Selassie I on there. In 1935, a black man in America is still getting burned at the stake, burned on the stake like a bonfire. You know. So you see the greatness of the reality that we need to know what's going on from this side about how Africa come to be liberated in our time. What we see is a great time here now, because it said Africa, when we acknowledge our own way how we come forward in this thing, then everything has changed. We just cite the OAU or the AU now, the African Union. All right? Them acknowledge His Imperial Majesty Baba Janai Haile Selassie I, you know, as the forerunner of the liberation movement. The Europeans, they don't like this. They don't like what happened in Addis Ababa, a couple months ago. No, I'm talking about this last year, when the AU just acknowledged His Majesty, when they built the statue. You know, and yeah, this happened this forward year, 2019. They just acknowledged His Majesty for his works in the African liberation movement. We love the vanity. Why are we still here?
Too much distractions. Too much distractions. And that's what this is about. Coming out of distractions and getting back to what's real, the reality. You know what I mean? Getting black to what's real. You know what I mean? Yes, this is the Black of Black, you know, episode here.
Black of Black.
Yeah, the Black of Black, you know. Everything is black and real and truthful, you know, black to what it really was, you know. Yeah, you gotta go black, you know. Black to what's real, you know. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're thankful all checking in, you know what I mean? The show was powerful. We're thankful for all that. And we're gonna do it again. We're gonna keep building, man. We're thankful. There's much more topics we're gonna get into. It ain't even start yet, but this is a good start though, I promise you. Because we got much more to build on. Because the end of the day is, you have to think black, buy black, and be proud to be black. Because that's the words that Marcus Garvey said. And he said everything else will work itself out. You know? And that's what stage we are in right now. We gotta think black, buy black, and be proud to be black. And everything else will work itself out. Yeah. As Marcus said. Because you know it was Marcus Garvey who came up with One Love. Most think it's Bob and all that. But it was Marcus Garvey who had formed the UNIA, right? UNIA, and the organization, every time they sealed, it was about race first. This is a true story, you know? It was about race first. So they would greet each other and they would say race first. You know? That was the start of the organization. They had to be proud of their race, you know? Because we got to remember we are a race of people, you know? We got to stay focused on that, you know? But differently, it was Marcus who said, one love.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And that's how he ended the show, you know? Good
Race
sir.
first.
Race first.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Good.
Yeah.